defending that title on the in the conference tournament stage with all the pressure of a one bid league. It's an awesome experience for them, and I can't wait to go get to work again tomorrow and start preparing to go play in the NCAA tournament.
Coach, how hard is it to, like you said, to turn that regular season championship into a conference tournament championship? I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to, and it's just 3 games, and they could go any way, and it is tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you can do in just a couple of days. It's something that's got to be a collaborative process, team, staff, everyone, that starts really on the first day of summer workouts when you get your new group together, June 1st. Everyone that's in our program, from staff to players, coaches, everyone that supports staff, we all understand that there's a championship expectation in this program. And I feel like for the most part our guys really lived up to that. And you can't show up for the start of the conference tournament and expect to win. Those habits are forged long time ago. And like I said, I think we developed a strong culture and strong habits long ago. But that last piece of the formation of the championship DNA is that slide from being a coach-led team to a player-led team, and I think that was the last step of our progression. And once we started to make that transformation, you felt it. That's when we went on our run. We lose to Marion Williams down the stretch of our season. We don't miss a beat. That's a guy that oftentimes leads us in scoring, guards the other team's best player. He goes down, 2 other guys step up, and they played as well as he did in his absence. That's when you've got a real team.
How much was the disappointment of last year motivating for you and the guy, like you said, for the guys to really take it on themselves? How big of a part of last year's experience was feeding into that, you think?
Well, last year was such a whirlwind of emotion. I mean, we were a team that had essentially 0 expectations at the beginning of the season. New coach, all new players, picked 7th in the league, no all-league guys. So we overachieved for most of the year. We lost a couple of really key players before we ever even played a game last season. For us to win the league last season, I think that was awesome. We obviously came up a possession or 2 short in the semifinal game. There were certainly some lessons learned in that, and for our guys that returned, I think that was maybe they can speak better to that, but I think the feeling of disappointment that was in our locker room was something that was a motivating factor. We talked a year ago, and I think we have the nation's longest winning streak again right now at 14 games. But we had it the middle of last season. We had a 12 or a 13 game winning streak. I can't remember exactly what it is. Maybe Katie can tell you. We won a lot of games in a row, though. You go a month and a half, 2 months without losing the game, and we talked a lot during that streak of making sure we stayed committed to process, because we felt like we didn't play our best basketball, as crazy as this sounds, during a lot of those wins. And understanding that when things tighten up, you've got to depend on process and on culture and all those things that you do behind closed doors when no one's watching. And we knew a year ago that we weren't where we needed to be in that space. We hoped, going into the conference tournament this year, we had things in the right place, and we were determined, and there was no hoping. We were going into that thing confident, and even when we saw extreme adversity in a couple of different forms in the tournament, there was no panic. There was no craziness in our locker room. It was simply guys that looked each other in the eyes and understood the mission, and were bound and determined to get us where we needed to go.
Coach, now that it's been a couple days since your victory, have you thought any more about the significance of just making it as a program to the NCAA tournament for the very first time?
I think the significance for me right now is just it validates what so many people in this room and even in this community, so many of our fans, like we've got great basketball in the Big South. There's been great basketball played at High Point University. This obviously is just an unbelievable point of validation. We can go out there and we have an opportunity to prove that we can compete with some of the more prominent names and conferences in our sport. So I think this is for some of the folks that have been coming for a quarter of a century waiting for this. This is a really neat opportunity for them to get validation that what they've enjoyed and watched and an experience for the last quarter century is a high level, and I think that's what we aim to do.
Coach, can you talk about obviously won the MVP, but throughout the year, a guy that's won the national championship with Kansas, what he's meant to this roster throughout this year leading up to the Big South Championship.
Yeah, Bobby's. I can't say enough good things. He was in a mental space. He had an off-season surgery. It was something that when we recruited him, we weren't 100% certain what it was. He got here, we got it diagnosed by a specialist, and right away, and he needed surgery. So he missed most of the summer, pretty much all the summer with his teammates. Now he was here and he was working. He just wasn't able to be on the basketball floor, and then had a couple of setbacks in the fall, missing games. Wasn't at his best physically for most of the year. Really, kind of after the start of the new year, started to come out of that space, both mentally and physically. But what I'll say about Bobby is he's had a determination to be impactful on our team, no matter his physical limitations or the different things that he was dealing with physically. He's been determined to be impactful. He does so with the way he impacts the younger guys on our team, with his ability to just kind of connect on a personal level. I think that was just critical to the formation of our team. I think in addition to that, he's in my mind probably our most valuable player this season. We've got a lot of talented players, but I think he's the most valuable because he just makes everyone on our team so much better. He's got a selflessness about him, whether it's scoring, whether it's playing time, whether it's accepting, kind of being the sixth or seventh man from a role standpoint, or whether it's just, understanding that day to day he's going to have to pick different guys up off the floor that aren't in the best headspace. His willingness to accept a variety of roles and complain never is such a big reason why we're here. I can't say enough good things about Bobby.
Coach, going into this week, you're kind of in a bit of a limbo phase for the next 5 days. You're going to see who you play. What's the mindset for you going into practice and for the players?
Yeah, I talked to my old boss, Coach Mack, yesterday, and he told me that they had the similar situation. We talked a little bit about when back in his Missouri Valley days, they had the week off too, and he told me that this is an enjoyable week. We know we're in, and we get to sit back and watch everybody else suffer. I think those were his words, and I've borrowed them a few times, and I think I watched. I've got YouTube TV, and they've got the 4-screen deal, and I had 4 games going at once last night, and they were all 4 one-possession games. And I'm looking around thinking, I'm really glad I'm not in one of those one-possession games right now. But we've taken 2 days off. The guys have been told by everyone that they know, and a lot of people that they don't know, how good they are, I'm sure. I've certainly had a similar experience. We'll get back to work tomorrow and get these guys back thinking about kind of our mission ahead, and hopefully by Sunday we'll get back in a little bit of a routine, and when we get our opponent Sunday night, we'll figure out a plan, and we'll go full force Monday and get ready for trying to beat whoever they assign us to play, wherever they send us to play them.
Coach, what's the feeling like you said, just people who have been around this program for decades or whatever, and it hasn't happened, but for you guys to be the ones to do that, what is that feeling like to be around those people who have been so supportive, and now they get to enjoy in the NCAA tournament?
I'm thrilled for them. I'm thrilled for our players. I'm thrilled for our fans. I'm thrilled for our alumni, for all the people that have waited for this. I knew this was going to happen, and I think our players did too. But you don't want to be brash and bold or anything like that. You want to be respectful of process. When I watched our guys this summer and saw the selflessness from kind of the first moment we stepped on the floor and saw the leadership potential that was there, I just felt like if I could get out of their way enough and let these good players be good players, then we had a chance to be a really special group. And we needed to have some things go our way and some correct bounces and all those things that it's a make or miss game still. You can't have a crazy game where the other team makes a bunch of threes and you miss them all. But we were confident. We knew it was going to happen. So for the people that have been dealing with it for a lot of years and waiting for it, and had some really great basketball played here that just hasn't come with the cherry on top at the end, I'm really happy for so many of those folks.
What did you do, or what were you thinking as you're looking at the scoreboard and you're down 15, was it X and O's time or reach down and find it time? What exactly was the process there?
Well, I've been asked, we were down 10 at halftime, and my message was such a high-level message that we immediately went down 5 more points. So whatever I told them, that didn't work. What I can tell you is it wasn't so much messaging or X's and O's. It had a lot more to do with just the character of the men that were in that locker room, that were on that bench. There was zero panic. We had poise throughout it. We understood. Like, we missed shots we shouldn't have missed. We had to adjust to their physicality level. They were plugging off corners, which is, typically not something you can do to our team. We're usually going to hit you for 15 or 16 threes if you do that. We had to just recommit to what we do. Be a little tougher, play a little harder. We extended our defense a little bit, and then at the end of the day, we've had the best bench in the league all season, and we pivoted to that bench. Those guys gave us an unbelievable spark, and the one thing about me is I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and when those guys are rolling, I got out of their way and shut up and let good players be good players.
Coach, I'm sure you're going to be asked this a lot, but what led to the decision to put the entire bench in at that point in the game? Did you talk about it with your staff, or did you just take over in that moment?
Well, I mean, kind of the way our team works, we've got 10 capable players, 12 capable players, but 10 of them who typically get a crack, and they were going to get their crack, and we were a little lifeless, I thought, to start the half, and just figured, you know what, let's go YMCA style, throw 5 of them in there, and like it's a line change, and see if maybe we could ship the mojo a little bit. And then they came in, and they were so good, we just had to roll with them.
Coach, really quickly, I want to go back to something that you kind of alluded to earlier with just kind of sharing this with everyone who's kind of had their footprint on the program over the years. But it sounds like on Sunday you guys are going to have a watch party here, and how special is that going to be just to kind of celebrate that with the community?
These things are great. Like I said, I've been really fortunate to be a part of a lot of these, and they're just, every time you have one of these, they're special, and they're not special because of the emotion that I experience, but it's the connection from, you have a new group of guys every year. That's what makes collegiate sports so much fun. You have a new group of guys. Some of them are new, some of them are old, but it's a different dynamic every year. And then the fans kind of fall in love with those personalities, and they get to experience the emotion right along with them. So it's going to be awesome. It's so much fun. Everybody watches this show, whether your team's in it or not. Everyone, I'm still not used to East Coast time. What is it? Probably 6 o'clock here. About 6 o'clock here, and in Eastern Standard Time, you find out where all the teams are going, and it'll be fun. The show that so much of our players have watched, and seeing the other people find out where they're going, and they're gonna hear their own name, and it's gonna be an incredible deal, and I can't wait to experience it for these guys, and it's not about me. It's just me watching these guys. They've worked so hard for it, and I can't wait to see it.
For those of us who don't know, you alluded to Coach Mack. Who is that? And where?
Coach McDermott was my boss at Creighton for the last 6 years.
Has he reached out to you?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, he did. He congratulated me, for our run, and watches a little bit. We try to do some of the things we do. We don't do it quite like he does. He's a lot better coach than I am, but I try to model some of the things after what he does, unsuccessfully a lot of the time.
Any final questions?
How great is it to have President Cobain show up at all the games, supporting you, cheering you guys on?
It's the best. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure what to make of it, a university president, right? That this involved, and when I say involved, it's interested is the word. He doesn't. This stuff isn't part of his job description. He loves it. He loves this university, and I can tell you the commonality between us in that space is he loves his job. I love my job. He feels like that's his calling. To being the president at High Point University is his calling. I feel the same way about my job. And his ability to connect with young people, specifically the guys on our team, is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's a genuine love and an appreciation for a guy, you feel it. You feel how much he loves this place, and he just, if you have one conversation with him, you know it. I think some of the people that don't experience him day to day think it's maybe a show. They don't understand that whether there's a camera around or not, it's the same. He's the same person, and the support's just unbelievable. I mean, the guys feel it. The staff feels it. He doesn't just come around when the camera's around. He comes to. We see him every day at practice. He comes and walks his laps around the concourse, watches a few minutes of practice. There's not very many programs in the country that have, probably you can count them on one finger, that have that level of support from the top down, and we're very fortunate.
Any last statements, Coach?
Nope. Go Panthers. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
We're going to have two of our players come up, Demarion Williams.
Ooh, bottom of the barrel. Sorry, guys. Best we could do right here. Best we could do.
And Chase Johnson, if you guys can come to the front, we'll have two chairs up for you.
You should send me the invoice for moving the chair. Put you to work.
And we'll just go ahead and open it up for questions.
I asked Coach this, but for you guys, what's the last 48 hours been like?
It's been amazing. We made history here. The fan base around here is crazy. It's probably the best in mid-major basketball. So it's been fun just seeing all the support and all the smiles that we made.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. This is my first experience ever going to the NCAA tournament. So just seeing the school and the faculty and President Kumain, supporting us since day one, it's been pretty surreal.
You guys were down 15 at one point, and the dream looked a little shaky. What were you thinking at that point, and when the final buzzer sounded, how did you feel after that previous emotion?
Going into the game, we made a collective decision that we was going to do anything to win. So I don't think at no point in the game anyone thought like it was out of reach. We all have belief always. We all believe in each other. So it made it easy.
Yeah, I would say we have the best bench in the country. Like Coach Huss always says, we have 10 dudes. So I would say I don't think there was any doubt, really, even down 15. I think we were down like 17 or 18 in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of conference play against Asheville, and came back and ended up taking the lead. So we just talk about belief all the time and trusting each other, and yeah.
How does that translate to what will be an NCAA tournament bid? You don't know who you're going to face, but it's obviously going to be a tough team because in all likelihood you'll be a lower seed. How does that affect your thinking, or does it affect your thinking?
We just keep the same approach. We put in a lot of work this summer, so we're just trusting our work. We prepared for this. We talked about this. This wasn't necessarily a surprise for us. This was a goal for us. This is what we wanted to do, so I think we're ready.
Coach has talked about you guys, this team becoming a player-led team. When do you guys feel like that happened this season, and how did you guys make that happen and just take control of this roster and try to stay focused on the goal?
Well, I don't think we've done it as good as Coach would like us to, but every game we're getting better. From the first game to the last game, it's a totally different feeling when we're out there. We all got each other's back. We're all supporting each other. We're all coaching each other and criticizing each other. So, yeah, every game we're getting better. We're still getting better with that.
Yeah, this team has a amazing growth mindset. All of us are just, we sharpen each other daily, and we really do. At the end of the day, this team is centered around the Lord, and we play for Him first and foremost. And I think that goes a long way. That's what creates a brotherhood, right? When you fix your eyes on Jesus first, you're able to love each other, and when your other brother succeeds, find joy in that. And then you're able to be player-led as well. So that was really important. That was instilled really early, and has worked out very well for us.
What's it like to be the first group to break through? There have been some good teams and hasn't quite happened, but for you guys, to get the job done, what is it like to also be able to share that with there are very supportive fans here too.
Yeah. It's amazing. Just watching the community get uplifted and just be all the way behind us. It's an amazing feeling, but I mean, like I said before, this was a goal for us, and it wasn't just a goal to make the tournament. I mean, we wanted to make a run in the tournament, so we're still focused on that and not too much celebrating quite yet.
Yeah, kind of like Demar said, it's been pretty surreal. It's amazing seeing all those fans come up in the student body, traveling 3.5 hours away. Like that's just like you can't simulate that anywhere else. I don't think. I think we have the best fans in the country, especially for mid-major basketball, and it's been pretty cool.
How fulfilling is it? Like Coach was saying, this starts last summer basically, and to be here now. I mean, how fulfilling is it to through that whole process to work through it and to be here now?
Yeah, I mean, just grateful and just thankful for all the work that we've put in and how it's turned out. I mean, like you said, it was a long summer. You know, I mean, we took a lot of shots, a lot of practice just to get to this point. So it's great, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a dream come true. It's a blessing. It's very thankful that the Lord has put us in this situation. There's been a lot of countless hours, a lot of sleepless nights in this, and a lot of hard practices leading up to this point. So it's really cool to see that all pay off and be able to take it to the next step in the big dance.
Do you care who you play? I mean, you really don't, because I wouldn't think, because, well, you're going. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
But if you had your druthers, is there somebody y'all like to face, just say you did it?
I mean, we haven't looked too much into it yet. I'm sure there's probably some favorable matchups for us that we would like, but regardless of who we're gonna play, we're gonna come with the same approach, same mindset that we've been all year. So, yeah.
You guys talked a little bit about how exciting for you guys that it was, to see fans come out to Johnson City and to support you guys. But have you noticed a little bit of like a different buzz around campus the last few days?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, class is a totally different atmosphere. As soon as you go in, everybody's congratulating you and saying thank you and just asking about your experience. So yeah, definitely. The moment you walk through them gates on campus, you feel different for sure.
Yeah, it's been very different. It's just seeing the student body bought in and just really excited as well. It's been getting emails from professors congratulating you, and it's been crazy.
You guys are two new additions to the team this year. I mean, what was the message from the returning players when you guys were coming into this year about last year?
The main thing that they were preaching to me was just trying to win. That's the main thing for this year that just came up, that everyone was focused on winning, and that's what kind of drew me in, you know what I mean? I wanted to be a part of that. I believed in the vision Coach Huss had for us, so yeah, glad I came.
Yeah, I kind of say the same thing. It was in the recruiting pitch was, I want to win, and this team won 27 games last year. So just like we were talking about earlier, we have 10 dudes. So just bringing the new guys in that he brought in, just buying into winning, buying into finding joy in other people's successes is the only way to find yourself on top at the end of the day. So just focus on winning and keeping the main thing the main thing.
I'm sure you guys have seen Trey Benham's and one celebration making its rounds on social media. What's been the team's reaction to that?
I mean, yeah, he's famous now, but he's made that face for a while. It's crazy that they're just now catching on to that, but that's Trey. I mean, he plays. That's how he plays. He plays with his heart on his shoulder. So, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
it's been seeing him all over my social media, and anybody who texts me, like I said, that's the first text I get, and that's my brother. I love that dude, and like Demar said, he plays with his heart on his sleeve. So it's cool to see him experience this moment for sure.
In general, just at this very moment, I would think it's sunk in by now, but how do you feel 2 days after the fact?
To be honest, it hasn't sunk in all the way yet, or at least for me, at least. I mean, it's still kind of surreal for me. I think once Selection Sunday hits, it'll sink in a little more once we know who we're playing and where we're playing at. But for now, I don't know if it's fully hit quite yet.
Yeah, I would say I'm still kind of in shock a little bit of what happened. Kind of like what Demar said, maybe at Sunday or maybe that first practice we go into and we step on that court in practice, so it kind of hit me. But it hasn't really hit me all at once yet. But so blessed to be in this position for sure.
Coach called Bobby the MVP of the team. How much did you guys lean on him, a guy that, you know, went to the mountaintop and won a national championship with Kansas a few years ago, and his experience?
Yeah, I mean, we all know each other's game. You know, I mean, that wasn't no surprise to us. We've had hundreds of practices with Bobby. We know what he's capable of. So to us, that was a normal game for Bobby.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a dude that's selfless in every level. I think he's the most selfless player I've ever played with in my life. It's really cool to see him take home that trophy. I mean, he's won a national championship, but like Demar said, we know what Bobby's capable of. His game, he's a high major basketball player. He's a true point guard, and even more than that, he's just an unbelievable teammate that's just willing to do whatever to help the team win. So.
Any other questions?
Short and sweet.
Any final statements from you guys?
If you want to stay, hey, we can keep going.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.